Hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Today is a Sunday, and lately on my Sundays, I have been actually spending like a Sunday service with myself. Really what that means is it's actually the day that I take my time to sit down, meditate, light a candle to speak with my ancestors and my soul guides. And I have just, since I've been doing this, what do you call it? I want to call it I guess a habit, my schedule, tradition, my ritual. Since I've been doing this for like maybe the past consistent 3 Sundays, because I've been doing it here and there, but I've been doing it consistently every Sunday, and then also I do things in between throughout the week. But since I've been doing it, I have, even when I'm like feeling erratic, or when my depression and my anxiety, my borderline traits, like even when I'm feeling so elevated, you know, I was telling y'all that I think people assume that that I smoke a lot of weed, but I really don't. I actually barely smoke weed because who I am is naturally already high person. Like my personality is already naturally high when I feel good. Not to the sense like of being manic, but just like when I'm thinking, I'm in it to win it. I'm like, I gotta figure it out. I'm a big researcher. I hyper focus on things. I wouldn't say hyper focus because that makes it sound like I can't pull away. And that's not true for me. I can. I just don't want to. This is what I want to do. So I get real invested and real passionate, and like the humanitarian in me needs to like delve into all my humanitarian understandings. The historian in me needs to go into the historic understandings. The healer in me needs to like sit down and figure out all these different physiological, medicinal, like healing methods. So I'm saying that to say, when I think, I really already naturally be thinking. Whether I'm depressed or whether I'm having a panic attack, it's usually because I've been doing too much thinking. It's the same thing. I think too much, I get depressed. I think too much, I get anxious. So, saying all that, with these consistent Sunday meditations that I've been doing, and really trying to like be in tune with my body and my soul, with my Ori, right, and like grounding myself, I have been like learning so much about who I am, even during my valleys. I can honestly say, like, the concept of know thyself, like when Rafiki like hits Simba on the head with his cane, and he's like, you know, basically telling Simba all the time, like, do you know who you are? You know what I'm saying? Like Rafiki be like, the question is, who are you, my boy? Who are you? Like, and it's like, Simba, you don't know who you are. Wake up. Like, this is what people are talking about when they talk about like woke culture. Like, it has got exploited, the term. But it all goes back to this understanding of like your pineal gland, your third eye. And the pineal gland is a real thing that, there's a video that I'm going to put the link down to below, because I don't want to sit here and try to explain why the pineal gland is so amazing and why it is what it is and why spiritual people understand it for the aspect that it is. Because y'all are going to probably stop listening, or I don't know. It depends on how you got to this video. But point is, if you want to learn more about your pineal gland, I'll put that link in the description. So let me get back on topic here, because I'm feeling very good. It's just a beautiful day. My afro, I feel like all of my ancestors right now are like massaging my afro. Like, it just feels good. That's so funny. But anyways, my life path 11s, my life path 11-2s. If you have a life path 11, that is a master number, which like kind of means like you're here to master your life. But it's like quotations, because everyone is here to master their life. But it's almost like when you have a life path, it's extra intense. It's like we came down here not when you have a life path, when you have a master number as your life path number, it's like we really came down here to figure something big out, like figure something really big out, not about the world or anything, but about our soul, right? And we don't always know what our soul is trying to understand, you know, whether I was Veronica in a past life or a Jonathan in a past life. the soul remains the soul, and the soul has to basically report back to source, aka creator. For people that may think this is easier to understand, aka God, right? So the soul comes down and incarnates in our bodies to do what it has to do and report back to source for whatever source needs it for. So when we come down here with these master numbers as our life path, it's like a big deal, like such a big deal. Honestly, it takes us, well, according to stories, right? Like according to other people's experiences, it takes individuals with master numbers as their life path number quite a long time to like figure it out or get it all right, which is kind of scary. And that, not gonna lie, I feel like that's why ultimately I was probably always going to like have a mental breakdown and hit anxiety and depression. Like now that I'm learning so much more about myself and my soul and my, you know, short-term and long-term missions, well, I guess for my soul it's always a long-term mission, but I'm starting to realize I was always gonna end up being a depressed person. My physical body, which includes things like my organs and my brain, was always going to be battling depression and anxiety, because when you're dealing with a master number, there is so much 5 steps forward, 2 steps back that happens, and that all this hard work, all this creativity, all this passion, drive that propels you forward, the lessons are even bigger when you like take so many steps back as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if I take 5 steps forward, I might be able to chill a little bit if I only took 2 steps back, but it starts feeling kind of crazy when that was my crazy face. So it's feeling kind of crazy when you find yourself taking 5 steps forward, but you take 4 steps back. It's like, damn, I'm almost back where I started. But imagine the lessons that are coming along with that. And I don't fully understand everything, right? Because I'm literally living in a body. I'm human, so I can't understand everything as if I'm only a soul, because I'm not. That's kind of the point. But the more I'm learning about myself, about Ifa, numerology, astrology, like Hinduism, I just Buddhism, all of this stuff. I mean, the more I'm learning more about the soul and its mission and reincarnation and knowing who you are, not who you, like knowing who you are 100%, right? This concept and idea. And I don't want to ever play humans down and be like, you'll never know exactly. No, you will. When it's time for you to know who you are in this incarnated body for this mission, you will. And it'll probably be when you're done, and that'll probably be close to the end of your life, to be honest, which sounds sad, but it's not, because at the end of the day, like, we're all here for a mission. Our souls are all here for a mission. And I mean, it's really only sad for the people that are left behind, because they're gonna miss us. But when we die, I mean, we've moved on to the next thing. So let's not, you know, celebrations, people. Mourning and grief is a real thing, but I'm saying for you individually, when you feel like you know you have stopped growing, and that like your ability to grow has probably stopped, like, if not just when you feel like it, let's not say that, when you feel like it, that you could just feel like anything, when you know that you know everything you need to know about your situation, it's time, like you about to go. And I even think about how when I was, so I technically had two suicide attempts, but only one that was so dramatic, right? And I think about the moment I woke up in the hospital, and it's crazy because you won't know what I'm talking about unless you've been in this position, to be honest. But there's a feeling how do I say this to make it make sense? Right. So with my suicide attempt, everything that I was doing was in preparation for me to die. So I'm literally dying. You know what I mean? As I'm falling asleep, I'm dying. And in that process, your brain, because of everything that you've been preparing for, you're literally having like your brain has already understood this dialogue of we're going to the next, whatever that was. I was no longer a Christian, and I didn't really believe in this concept of heaven and hell anymore. Not in the way that Christianity makes it seem. Like, absolutely not. So I was very much like, I'm ready for the next. I don't want to be here anymore. I feel like when my soul was, you know, preparing to come down and reincarnate, I feel like I pulled way too much. And maybe I did. Hence, you know, the master number for my life path number. So maybe I did tack on too much. I don't know. But I do believe that even if I did, now I know, even if I did accidentally create a life that was too hard for me, there are ways to alleviate that. Once, as you gain more understanding, you'll know certain things, certain rituals, things like meditation. That's the easiest one. That's the most popular one. But things like meditation help alleviate basically the stress of when you put more on you than you can bear. But the minute you start doing that, even your soul, just like the body naturally fights to survive, the soul will do that. And in a moment of like realizing, like the body's like getting crazy and realizing, oh my gosh, we literally picked way too much to try to figure out when we incarnated into, you know, Christian's body. In those moments, the first thing it does is try to survive. And so consciousness and your soul guides, your ancestors, they will send you lifelines. You know what I'm saying? And when my life literally was at its worst, the time my life was at its worst was the same time that a random door of spiritual growth opened. And I don't think that that's coincidence. To me, that's just like, duh. Duh. It's like my ancestors and my soul groups was like, don't fucking kill yourself, Christian. Don't kill yourself. We have lifelines. That's what we're here for. We're here to support you. Like, and they threw me a raft. You know what I'm saying? They threw me a life jacket, something to like give me a place to start, right? So, but before all that, back to this crazy concept, back to this crazy like realization. Before all that happened, like I said, I had been telling this narrative in my head, so it was already a thing. It was already understood. It was what it was going to be, right? So I'm over here dying. I mean, I don't know why I'm laughing. I guess because now I can, to be honest. And honestly, it's my suicide story. I can laugh if I want to. But anyways, I'm over here dying, and everything in my mind, my consciousness, my soul, we're gonna die. So when that's happening to you, right? My body's checked out at this point. My body's checked out. So now all I have is consciousness. And consciousness, like your spirit moves, all of that stuff, that metaphysical stuff moves faster than the physical. So in the middle of my body shutting off, the police arrive. They have, strapped me to a stretcher, putting stuff in my body to keep my actual physical body alive, and taking me to the hospital. And while I'm at the hospital, I'm asleep, like I'm unconscious for like 3 days straight. Right. All of that happened. So I already mentioned that I was unconscious for 3 days. I was asleep for 3 days. But outside of that, even the time of like the EMS, or the EMS, I guess, or the cops arriving, or I don't know if it was the firemen. I think it was the firemen, because they were the ones that I actually know the fire department that was closest to my house, where this all took place. Anyways, point is, all of that time is passing, right? But for me, since my actual body is shut down, I'm only dealing with the spiritual. I'm only dealing with conscious. And conscious, this is just, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, in an understanding of conscious, this is happening in like no more than 5 minutes tops. 5 minutes. So I have this narrative should I say? Actually, I'm going to say, because people don't know that certain things don't work out the way you want to. I don't want to say, because I don't want to give power to it for anybody else that may be feeling suicidal. But this is a very, I feel like it's an important thing to understand. So I'm not going to get into the details of how many pills I took, what kind of pill. Well, I can tell you what kind. I took various antidepressants, right? Which were all new because I was only just being put on antidepressants. So I had a whole bunch of not various, but I had like 3 different antidepressants or whatever that I was on because I had a previous suicide attempt. So after that suicide attempt, that's when they were like, "You depressed? You know?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I'm suicidal. I don't want to be here." So they gave me all these antidepressants. So I had these antidepressants that were new, but I mean, at this point, I'd already decided it didn't work out the first time. Second time, it's gonna work. I had researched it. I looked into it. Basically, I was like, my main concern was I'm not about to shoot myself in the head, because if I don't die, then I got to deal with being ugly from being shot in the head. And then I don't know how to hang myself, but I did meet somebody that I met somebody that hung himself like twice in the psych ward with me. So that obviously didn't work out for him. Not saying people are successful, they are. But let me tell you this. You try the harder ways to try to kill yourself. If you don't kill yourself, you look crazy. Because he looked crazy. He literally looked like a walking Frankenstein from all the multiple ways that man has tried to die. Now, he was a military member, so I'm sure he has seen and been through some crazy stuff. And I can only imagine that, you know, he would want to not see those things anymore. But it's not his time to go at all. Hence why he couldn't die. Hence why he literally was looking like a Frankenstein from all of his battle wounds. But really, that wasn't even it. It was the suicide attempts. Like, from hanging himself multiple times, the wrist, like he couldn't even use his hands. Anyways, oh my God. It actually makes me really sad when I think about it. I mean, it made me sad, but I haven't thought about it in a long time, that guy. But he scared me. Anyways, not that he scared me because I'm scared of him. It scared me that someone could hate. I mean, he hated himself so much that who knows how many times he's tried to die and woke up and wouldn't take spirits. Like, it's like, I imagine each time he would wake up or come back to or something, spirit is like, yeah, like I said, it's not your time to go. So he's like literally, he's basically in the batting ring with God. I don't know. I couldn't do it. So I just don't know what he needs God to do. I don't know what that man needs to do in order to just give it up. Like, dude, it's not your time to go, so just let it go. But whatever. Anyways, so yeah, so this second time I had mixed in the pills, but I'm not going to give details because I don't need people getting ideas. But even if you did, even if you know certain things you can do to make it more solidified when you're doing pills, I'm still alive. So just let it, I'm telling you right now. And when you're still alive, there are a lot of repercussions you got to deal with for trying to kill yourself, especially because I was in the military. But the main thing is that the main repercussion is honestly coming home to a bunch of people that love you and care about you. Or I guess if you don't have a bunch of people to come home that love and care about you, that's a whole different story, which I could talk about, but I'm not going to go that route because it's going to make this video super long. But yeah, coming home or just hearing family, like, you know, your grandma, your mom, your dad, your siblings, like, they're all hurt, right? They're so hurt, and it's too much, honestly. And then you already go to a psych ward because you tried to kill yourself. But then when you finally do get home, they still don't let you live. They don't let you live. You go home, and why would they, right? But you go home and people are still like, this is like binoculars. They're like, don't think, I dare you to think about hurting yourself one more time. You know, like, for the next 2 years, you're going to be being extra watched. So, I mean, anyways. But the main thing let me get back to the story. I imagine that I'm saying all this extra stuff because somebody needs to hear it. But the main thing is, by the time my body had shut off, right? And I'm basically, honestly, I'm falling into a coma. I wouldn't call it a coma, but I'm falling into a deep, deep sleep. Like, for me, it felt like literally no more than 5 minutes, and I had been telling my body, okay, we're about to be done, we're moving on to the next, right? So within 5 minutes of my understanding, I go from like, we're about to be out of here, I've done crazy things to ensure My brain is dead. So the shock, right? The shock when I can only laugh at this point, but the shock, and before you open your eyes, I don't know how anybody else's situation is, but for me, before I opened my eyes, like it's almost like mind you, this was no more than 5 minutes. So it went from me, in my mind, this is the easiest way to explain it. This is me, this is my consciousness just talking to itself, right? It's like, okay, yeah, we took the pills, we did all the stuff, blah, 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 blah. We should be dying anytime now. Anytime now we're gonna be dead. What is that? What's that? What is that? Does anybody see that? So mind you, this is happening in like 5 minutes. And so while I'm sitting here, my brain's like, we're almost done, we're almost dead. Suddenly, this is gonna sound crazy. I mean, suddenly there's a giant light, right? I know. It is almost like absolutely like, it's a story. It's a storybook, right? We hear it time and time again, but it's true for some of us. I don't know about everybody, but obviously a lot of us see light, right? Light. Some people say that that's the light from the operating table. Some people say that's God. That's, I don't know. And I think it depends, because for me, like I said, now I was told that my stomach, well, I don't know. I was told that I was told by a nurse that she believed, but she wasn't my actual nurse. She was just, I haven't slept for 3 days. So when I woke up, I kind of had a different nurse than I had when I came in. I had a different nurse than I had when I came in, right? So one nurse who wasn't even my actual nurse, she just happened to be like, I don't know, bringing me something. Because I asked her, I was like, did I have a catheter? Okay, I'm putting too much business out there. But your girl had a catheter, and she said that she thinks that they pumped my stomach or something else. She really wasn't sure because she wasn't my actual nurse. So if that's the case, then maybe, I don't know, maybe I was. There was no need for me to be on an operating table, but maybe there was some big lights in front of my eyes at one point. Why would there not be? I'm sure they were trying to check my pupils being dilated. But and also, the reason why I say mine's probably really was just medical instrument lighting is because I didn't go to like no beautiful, I don't know, meadow with nice flower beds and trees. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't have enough time for that, to be honest. I guess my physical body was only knocked out for 3 days, so I didn't have enough time to be in the meadows. It's not like I was asleep for weeks. But yeah, so anyways, so I'm like not out there. My consciousness is like, yeah, we're about to be checked out. We're going to see God. And then, our idea of God, which I say that because there's levels to this. We're going to see God, and then God's going to send us to the next, whatever that is. Mind you, I understand now that heaven and hell aren't how it is depicted through Judeo-Christian understanding. So I was never concerned with going to hell. My only concern was disappointment, and I didn't know past that. I assumed maybe having to redo an aspect of my life, but this was before I believed in reincarnation, so I really don't know. And that's a lot of sane thinking for a person that's suicidal, so I didn't sit down and delve into it. But I had already been crossed over into an understanding that heaven and hell doesn't exist in the way that we think it does. And that was kind of another reason to what is it? Honestly, I was getting tired of it. I was like, I hate this world so much, and the only reason why I'm keeping myself here is because I'm afraid of what other people have told me is supposed to happen on the other side. And so when I stopped believing in the other side like that, but I didn't know what was on the other side, I was just like, dude, I'm out of here. But anyways, but that didn't happen. Like I said, I was only asleep for 3 days, so I don't think I had enough time to go to some meadow and like complete bliss. No, it literally went from, yep, we should be checking out. It's like, we should be dead soon. What is this bright light? What is this? Does anybody, and I'm talking to myself, but does anybody know what this bright light is? And and in the minute, like basically seconds of, or a minute of seeing this bright light and wondering what that was, I woke up. Like my eyes woke up. And I forgot why I was telling y'all this story, but I believe I was trying to tell y'all, oh, let me bring it all back together. The shock when you think something's gonna happen and it doesn't. So yeah, so just imagine like literally like I'm gonna die, I'm ready to die, I'm about to die. Even if you get into a car crash, when you see like that 18-wheeler that can't slow down, I mean I'm sure this never happened to you or else you're dead, but think about in the movies when the 18-wheelers like can't slow down and you see it coming and it's just like, I know I'm gonna die, you know what I'm saying? And then suddenly you don't. Yeah, that's one of those things where you like, that's nothing but God. That's nothing but God. That truly is nothing but spirit being like, yeah, it's just not your time, dude. No. So like I said with that other gentleman that I met in the psych ward, I don't know how many times he has to have that experience, but that's not my life. That's not my understanding to process. That's for him, and that's between him, his ancestors, his spiritual guides, aka like his angels, and God. That's all between that's his business. For me, it took me that one time to attempt to die on my own, of my own accord, to realize, and this wasn't just that, it wasn't just waking up and wanting to die. It was, I'm a firm, I don't even have to believe, because now I know. It was the fact that the avenues I went through to ensure my death, and yet I still woke up. And when I woke up, thankfully my spiritual guides, so aka my angels and God, gave me the pamphlet to know myself. And it was I have this post on my Facebook that talks about like when Eshu, so Eshu is African spirituality, Ifa, like the motherland faith, basically. They're deities, and the deities are basically like the deities, like how we have like Archangel Michael and Gabriel. That's basically like the deities. So they're not God, but they're like God's generals. Anyways, so I have this post on my Facebook that talks about like when Eshu, and if you want to know more about this, you have to do your own research. I'm not getting into all that, but it's like when Eshu basically takes you through a horrible experience just so that Ilegba can like show you your destiny. And that's really kind of that's honestly what happened to me. It was like, it's almost like with different moments in your life, you hit something really, really hard, or you've been hitting something really, really hard, and this drastic, crazy, wild thing needs to happen. And that is what I'm referring to as being like Eshu's work. Like, so Eshu, the deity, giving you these various, negative experiences, but not because he's evil, not because he's Satan, not because he doesn't, love or care about you, but just because part of your growing and developing and part of you knowing who you are is going through the hard stuff. It is what it is. Like, part of you knowing who you are is going through the thick of it. That's just what it is. And I used to be like so angry about that when I was a kid, when I used to be like, why would God put you through tests just so he can save you afterwards? Because the truth is, his perspective is important, and you will never know that there is a sun if you don't know the moon. It's not about good versus evil, sometimes, but that's not what that is. It's not about like the idea of Satan and God, the idea of the moon and the sun, the idea of fire and water. These things aren't about good or bad or right versus wrong. What these are perspectives, and perspectives help you know yourself. Perspective is the lesson to you progressing into your next move. So what I'm saying is, Eshu, who mainstream society, they don't even realize all the time, but as soon as they are introduced to a Shu, they want to assume he's Satan. And it's like, of course, everybody thinks Satan is this bad guy. But like Satan, I mean, the idea of Satan, of negativity, is bad, right? But the understanding that you will never know how beautiful Jesus is if you don't know the devil. Do you know what I'm saying? Jesus can't be Jesus if he doesn't have Satan. So it's, and likewise, Satan can't be Satan if he doesn't have Jesus. So it's like, literally, if I never knew what it was like to starve, I wouldn't be so appreciative of food every day in my belly. So that's all I'm saying, is these perspectives is what makes a transition. So what I'm trying to say is, when a Shu, for real, like when a Shu brings you through the hard stuff, just so that Elegba can really bring you into your destiny and help you know yourself, so that when the perspective happens, it has to, and it has to be uncomfortable, so that comfortability can exist. You will never know you're comfortable until you're uncomfortable. So if you know what I'm saying right now, just clap it up for the gems that are being dropped. Ooh, thank you. Anyways, I'm saying all that to say that being life path 11, which is a master number, master numbers are 2-digit numbers. So if you're learning more about your life path in numerology, it doesn't mean that you're suddenly like, you know, if you only have a 1-digit number, your mission is big, bad, and beautiful, baby girl, baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever think that. What I'm saying is that basically, if you have a double-digit life path number, you probably aren't going to sometimes I think it's going to take a while before you die. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I think if you have a double-digit life path number, you're definitely not going to die till your older age, because in your physical body there's so many intensities that you have to hit, and there's just not enough time if you die too soon. But that may not be the case, and it also depends on everybody's mission. But I mean, it is universally understood amongst the spiritual realm that, like, life path, double-digit life path, so life path master life path numbers, and a master number is a 2-digit number, if I'm confusing anybody. It's gonna be, but like, you're gonna be hitting them walls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be spiking, or I don't know if you spike in tennis, but you're gonna be hitting tennis balls, and sometimes they're gonna come back and hit you in the face. Honestly, most of the time they're gonna hit you in the face, but each time it hits you in the face, you're gonna learn a lesson. It sucks to suck, but we'll never like know what we're here to know. And it took me a long time to accept that. You're talking to a person that has like really bad depression and anxiety. Like, I get it. I don't like it. But at the end of the day, like, I mean, at the end of the day, I chose to be here. I chose to reincarnate here. Like, not as an I Christian, but my soul. At the end of the day, my soul chose to come here and incarnate and do what we gotta do. And my soul chose this body, and so now me and my soul are one. And I mean, to be honest, if I keep trying to fight it, it's only going to promote self-hate, because I am who my soul is this physical body. So if I don't love my physical body and I don't love my soul, it's always going to be a problem. And honestly, I'm just going to have to keep reincarnating as Christian, or a version of Christian, to fucking learn the lesson. So I'm not going to keep doing that. So for all of my master number, double-digit life path people out there, like, you know, first of all, we going a round of hands for us, okay? Because life is hard for everybody. But what I'm saying is, life is hard, and sometimes for us, it does feel like that our hills and valleys, they come too quick. We don't get to ride the hill long. But we also don't stay in the valleys that long either. It's very evened out. It's very much like chaos, 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 chaos. And it sucks. It sucks. So a round of applause for us, babies, because we be doing that. We be working it. We be making it happen. And I'm so proud of us. Like, I'm so proud of us. You know? So proud of us. So each time we're fighting a brick wall, each time we're getting hit with tennis balls, each time shit isn't working out, my baby, look at who you are, because I would have never been where I am today if I didn't try to kill myself, to be honest. No, I'm not saying go try to kill yourself, because if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But also, like, just don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know who you are, okay? But also, certain things that's gonna happen to you anyways. So certain things you don't have to ask for. Obviously, I didn't sit around asking to be so sad and depressed that I would try to kill myself. That's just what happened, but that's how things are going to happen. But what I'm saying is, like, I would not love myself the way I love myself. I would not be confident about myself the way I'm confident about myself. I would not think I'm as sexy. I would not think I'm as cool. I would not think I am as, like, intrinsic, like, interesting. Like, give me all the unique vibes, everything that, like, I'm an Aquarius sun. I'm an Aquarius sun, a Sagittarius moon, and a Gemini rising. And and of course that's not even all of it, but I be feeling like, like I be feeling like, things be going crazy. But when I tell you, I think I'm one of the coolest people out there. And honestly, if you don't think I'm cool, like, I'm like, okay, like, if you don't think I'm cool because I'm weird, if you don't think I'm cool because I'm unique, if you don't think I'm cool because I can't stick with one hairstyle, if you don't think I'm cool because I'm a huge lover, if you don't think I'm cool because I'm a lesbian that's growing more into a pansexual as I get older, like, if you don't think I'm cool because of who the fuck I am, okay, to the left, because baby, I am I'm all that in a bag of chips. Thanks, mama. I'm all that in a bag of chips. So my double digit life path members, first of all, hello. Second of all, you're beautiful. You're badass for real. Not saying nobody else is badass. I'm just saying we're badass. And baby, like, continue to find yourself. Continue to find yourself, because at the end of the day, remembering who you are. When I say know yourself, you're remembering who you are. You're reintroducing yourself as a member of your own society. And then member. The root is a member, like becoming a part of something. And then to is to rejoin it. So become a member. So remembering anything is being integrated back into what already was. So find yourself, baby. Find yourself. And I know it's going to be hard, but remember this. Everything happens for a reason. There is nothing that happens for no reason. Some things happen that didn't need to happen. That's just the breaks. Some things happen that did not need to happen. But now that it happened, that's actually going to affect everything else that happens. For good or bad. But not everything happens for a reason. And so if everything can happen for a reason, and if everything has a cause and effect, karma's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Take all those things that you feel are negative and reframe them into their positive. Or remember why this negative thing is important. This is going to sound a little shallow, but I'm using a dramatic example to try to help understand the little things. So I'm using a big thing. But if you're hungry, or if you're starving, or if you know someone that's hungry or starving right now, you better believe they will never take for granted any kind of meal they get in the future. They won't. They won't. And also, if they're hungry and starving right now, imagine the impact they will have on other people they run into that are hungry and starving. Part of my wake up was running into people that were already suicidal. Part of me being introduced into spirituality was being in a room with a bunch of other people that were losing their goddamn minds. You know what I mean? But only they could talk to me about certain things because they've been there or they are there. So I don't know if I'm planting a seed for some people or watering a tree or whatever, but I if you got something good from this, I hope you can spread it in your own way to the next person. Okay? So I don't know how to end this, but anyways, I had to say it. So I'm feeling good. I'm home. I'm about to get me something to eat. Everybody have a good Sunday. Aquarius power, Afro power. Or whatever kind of hair you have power. But I'm talking about afros. Afros matter. Anyways, much love. Bye.